You know, it's funny how for many of us, Father's Day conversations often revolve around what's sizzling on the grill or which gifts Dad will unwrap. It's a day filled with those comfortable, familiar routines. We celebrate, we show appreciation, we eat. But what if there's something more profound happening beneath the surface, something richer than the aroma of the barbecue? What if the very idea of fatherhood, the role we're honoring, is meant to be a kind of window, a reflection, even if a bit smudged at times, of something truly divine? Today we're stepping past the charcoal and the usual caricatures to explore the deep spiritual currents that flow right through the heart of being a father. This isn't just about another holiday, it's about tuning into a sacred echo. So, when we talk about fatherhood as a divine reflection, what are we really getting at? It's this idea that the role of an earthly dad, when he's at his best, mirrors qualities and purposes that come straight from God. Think about it for a second. That instinct to protect, the drive to provide, the ability to love so deeply, the weight of responsibility to guide these aren't just random biological programming. From a spiritual viewpoint, these are like echoes of a divine design. The scriptures often refer to God as a father, and that's not just sweet, sentimental talk. It's a core understanding of his relationship with us. He's shown as the ultimate provider, the perfect guide, the source of love that never quits and strength that never wavers. If we believe we're made in God's image, then it makes sense that the roles he sets up for us, like being a parent, would carry a spark of that divine nature. So, an earthly father has this incredible chance to show his kids, his family, aspects of God's own character. It's kind of like looking at a portrait. The painting isn't the person, but it gives you a real feel for who they are. Imperfect? For sure. Human? Absolutely. But a reflection all the same. Proverbs 22:6 tells us, "Start children off on the way they should go, and even when they are old they will not turn from it." This points to guidance that's more than just practical. It's spiritual, it's foundational, reflecting God's own desire to lead us down the right paths. One of the most powerful ways earthly fatherhood mirrors the divine is through unconditional love. Now let's be real. Human love can be messy, it can be flawed, and sometimes it feels very conditional. But at its very best, a father's love aims for something higher. A love that's just there, steadfast, enduring through all the ups and downs. This is a mirror, however imperfect, of God's unwavering love for his children. A love that doesn't say, "I love you if," but "I love you always." Think about the father who welcomes home a child who's made a big mistake. Not with judgment first, but with an embrace that says, "You're still my child and you're still loved." That simple act, that readiness to forgive and restore, gives us a real, tangible peek at divine grace. It's a love that makes you feel safe, a love that helps you know who you are, a love that whispers, "You belong." This isn't just about warm fuzzies. It's about a committed presence. It's about the dad who shows up, not just for the highlight reel moments, but for the ordinary, everyday stuff, showing a consistency that mirrors God's constant presence in our lives. So many dads sacrifice their own comfort, their own wants, their own time for their kids' well-being. This sacrificial part of love is a profound echo of the ultimate sacrifice that's so central to faith. It's often in these quiet, selfless acts that the divine reflection shines brightest. Beyond love, being a father is so much about guidance and sharing wisdom. Earthly dads are often our first teachers, our first navigators through life's confusing maze. They teach us how to do things, sure, but also moral principles, values, and how to handle relationships and challenges. This role directly reflects God as our ultimate guide, the source of all real wisdom. The Bible, especially in books like Proverbs, is full of images of a father teaching his son, passing on wisdom for living. "Listen, my son, to your father's instruction, and do not forsake your mother's teaching." This isn't just about laying down rules, it's about shaping character. Imagine the father who patiently explains why honesty matters, even when it's tough. Or the one who helps his child wrestle with a hard decision, not by just giving the answer, but by teaching them how to find wisdom for themselves. This is like God's desire for us not to just blindly obey, but to grow in understanding and good judgment. When a father models integrity, when he actually lives the values he talks about, he gives his children a moral compass. He becomes a living example of how to walk through the world with purpose and principle. This guidance also includes setting boundaries, providing discipline that comes from love, not anger, a corrective guidance that's a bit like how God often refines and shapes us for our own good. It's about getting kids ready not just for success as the world sees it, but for a life of meaning and positive impact, a life that itself reflects a higher calling. Another really key facet of this divine reflection shines through in a father's natural drive to provide for and protect his family, often at great personal cost. This mirrors God's role as our ultimate provider and protector. From the basics like food and a roof over their heads, to the deeper needs of feeling emotionally secure and safe, dads often seem wired to make sure their family is okay. Think about the father working long hours, maybe at a job he doesn't even particularly like, to ensure his children have what they need. That's a daily act of sacrifice. Or the father who stands like a guardian against harm, whether it's physical or emotional, creating a safe haven where his children can truly flourish. This protective instinct reflects God's promise to be our refuge and our fortress. The sacrifices fathers make often go unnoticed, uncelebrated. They might put their own dreams on hold, give up hobbies, or go without certain comforts to invest in their children's future. This willingness to put others first is a powerful testament to a love that echoes the divine. It's not just about bringing home a paycheck, it's about providing presence, providing stability, providing a sense of unwavering support that says, I'm here for you, no matter what. This steadfastness, this commitment to seeing others thrive, is a beautiful reflection of God's sustaining grace and His watchful care over our lives. So, if we start to see fatherhood as this potential reflection of the divine, how does that change how we look at Father's Day? How does it shift our view of the role itself, whether we're celebrating our own dads, stepping into that role ourselves, or even dealing with the complexities of a tough or absent father relationship? For those of us celebrating our fathers, it pushes us to look beyond the usual gifts. Instead of just another tie or a coffee mug, maybe we can share how we've seen our dads reflect these deeper divine qualities. Perhaps it's sharing a specific memory of when his guidance was a game changer, or when his unconditional love made all the difference. It's about honoring the heart, the character, the spiritual legacy. You could tell him, Dad, when you showed me patience that one time, you really taught me about grace. Or, the way you always worked so hard for us showed me what selfless provision looks like. These kinds of words connect his actions to a much higher purpose. For fathers themselves, understanding this divine reflection can be an amazing source of encouragement and a really profound calling. It's an invitation to lean into these divine aspects, to consciously try to love unconditionally, to seek wisdom in guiding your children, to embrace the role of protector and provider with a sense of sacred duty. It's not about being perfect because no human father is. It's about being intentional. Like Joshua declared, "As for me and my household, we will serve the Lord," showing that spiritual leadership starts right in the heart and home. And what about those for whom Father's Day brings a bit of a sting? Maybe your father wasn't around, or the relationship was broken, or he fell really short of this ideal. Understanding this divine reflection doesn't magically erase that pain, but it might offer a different lens. That deep longing for a perfect father, for that unconditional love and guidance, is a universal human ache precisely because it points us toward God as the only truly perfect father. The earthly ideal, even when it's not met, still tells us something about the divine reality. In these tough situations, we can acknowledge the hurt, but also look up to the one who promises to be a father to the fatherless. The shortcomings of earthly fathers can, in a way, make the perfection of God's fatherly love even clearer and something we long for even more. As we think about these deeper meanings, I'd genuinely love to hear from you. In what ways have you seen fatherhood, maybe in your own dad, a father figure, or in your own journey as a dad, reflect these divine qualities of love, guidance, or provision? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. Let's create a space to honor these often unspoken truths. Now let's be honest about something important. No earthly father is a perfect mirror of God, not even close. Every dad is human with flaws, weaknesses, and times they don't measure up to the ideal. Some fall very short. And this reality can be a source of real pain and disappointment for a lot of people. Does this imperfection mean the whole idea of a divine reflection is bunk? I really don't think so. In fact, the imperfections of human fathers, when we look at them through a spiritual lens, can actually highlight the perfection of God's fatherhood even more. When we see the gaps, the shortcomings, it can stir in us a deeper longing for the true source, for the Father who never fails, whose love is truly unconditional, whose wisdom is infinite, and whose provision is absolute. The ideal of fatherhood, that divine blueprint, still stands as a powerful testament to God's design, even if our human attempts to live it out are often messy. Besides, the journey of fatherhood itself is often one of growth, of learning, and frequently of needing to say sorry and ask for forgiveness. A father who can admit his mistakes, who can apologize to his kids, who keeps trying to do better, is, in his own way, reflecting a God of grace and second chances. The hope isn't in finding a flawless human father, but in realizing that the very concept of father is packed with divine meaning, always pointing us toward a relationship with God who embodies that fatherhood perfectly. This means that even in tough situations, the ideal of fatherhood, the idea of what a father is meant to be, still acts like a signpost pointing us towards God's character. That very desire in our hearts for a loving, guiding, protecting father is, at its core, a desire for God. It's also really valuable to remember that the idea of fatherhood, in a spiritual sense, goes way beyond just biological ties. The Christian tradition talks a lot about spiritual fathers, men who step into roles of mentorship, guidance, and nurturing within the faith community. They do this for those who might not have their biological dad around, or really for anyone needing that kind of spiritual leadership. The Apostle Paul often called Timothy his son in the faith, showing this deep, nurturing relationship that wasn't about blood, but about a shared spiritual journey and mentorship. These spiritual fathers play such an important role. They could be pastors, youth leaders, mentors, or just older, wiser men in the community who take it upon themselves to guide and support others. They offer wisdom, encouragement, and they model faith in action. They can help fill a void, offer a different perspective, or reinforce the good lessons learned from a biological father. On a day like Father's Day, it's really worth thinking about and honoring these men too. They also reflect aspects of God's fatherly care and guidance, investing in others' lives, helping them grow spiritually, and showing that God's father heart can be expressed through many different people in many different ways. This broader understanding helps make the celebration of fatherly influence more inclusive and acknowledges the diverse ways God provides guidance and support in our lives and communities. So, this Father's Day, as the smell of barbecue might be wafting through the air and families are getting together, let's try to look beyond the grill. Let's make a real effort to see past the usual holiday stuff and tune into that profound spiritual symphony that fatherhood is meant to be. Earthly fatherhood, with all its beauty and its imperfections, is designed to be a reflection, a pointer, to the ultimate Father, the source of all love, all wisdom, all provision. When we honor our fathers, let's honor the ways they've, maybe without even knowing it, mirrored that divine image. For those who are fathers, embrace the sacredness of your role, knowing you have this incredible privilege of shaping lives and reflecting God's heart. And for all of us, may this day deepen our appreciation for the perfect, unfailing love of our Heavenly Father, who wants us to know Him, to walk with Him, and to grasp the depth of His care. May we celebrate the glimpses of His goodness we see in earthly fathers, and may it draw us ever closer to the source. This Father's Day, let's not just light up the grill, let's ignite a deeper appreciation for the divine reflection woven into the very fabric of fatherhood, and may it bring blessing and encouragement to everyone. Thanks so much for joining me in thinking about this. If this message resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more content that explores faith and life, leave a comment, and maybe share it with someone who could use a bit of encouragement this Father's Day. Wishing you a truly blessed and meaningful celebration. Stay tuned. We've got more inspiring videos coming soon. And remember, you are loved, you are valued, and you are never alone. There's always room at the open table.